Why did he say that? He could have said, I don't know.
He could have, but this, again, he's being truthful.
But if it's the Osundairo brothers, what are the chances that that's the case, that he saw somebody with light skin?
Well, you know, I mean, I think there's, obviously you can disguise that. You could put makeup on. There is actually, interestingly enough, a video. You know, I think police did minimal investigation in this case. It took me all of 5 minutes to Google. You know, I was looking up the brothers, and one of the first videos that showed up actually was one of the brothers in whiteface doing a Joker monologue with white makeup on, and so it's not implausible.
After Jussie Smollett was exonerated by the district attorney for the state of Chicago, Smollett's lawyer is trying to hold the situation together and somehow is still trying to push the theory that Smollett maybe didn't fake this attack after all, and that maybe, and listen to this, maybe the Nigerian brothers who were friends of Jussie Smollett and worked together with Smollett of faking this attack were actually wearing whiteface. So by that theory, Smollett couldn't recognize that Nigerians were actually black, yet that actually Smollett thought that these two Nigerians were actually just two white men. And this is ridiculous, because it was already proven before this that these two Nigerians were actually friends and that they were acting as extras on Smollett's show, Empire. And it's not only that, Kim Foxx, the top prosecutor in Chicago, didn't formally recuse herself from Jussie Smollett's investigation. According to CNN, Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx only separated herself from decision-making in the Empire Stars case out of an abundance of caution, and not based on any conflict of interest, her office said Thursday. Although we use the term recuse as it relates to State's Attorney Foxx's involvement in this matter, it was a colloquial use of the term rather than in its legal sense, the office said in a statement. Tandra Simonton, a spokeswoman from her office, announced last month that Foxx had been removed from the case to address potential concerns of impartiality based on familiarity with potential witnesses in the case. So now we know that actually Kim Foxx, who was a friend of Smollett, didn't actually recuse herself from Smollett's case, even though she is a friend of Jussie Smollett, and that's why she let him free. And she's also a friend of Kamala Harris and Michelle Obama, just like Smollett. And that's probably the reason why Jussie Smollett was exonerated in the first place. And now we also have Rahm Emanuel, the Chicago mayor, accusing President Trump of creating a hate environment, and that somehow he is to blame for this whole Jussie Smollett fiasco, because Trump said that the FBI will look more closely in the Smollett case, and he is absolutely right, because it's more than obvious that Chicago prosecutors couldn't do a good job, because that city is so corrupt that they were willing to let a man go free who obviously faked a disgusting hate crime, with dozens of pieces of evidence supporting that claim. But anyway, the Chicago mayor still somehow found a way to blame this on Trump. Let's watch the video.
Look, I've always said from day one this is a Trump-free zone, the city of Chicago, and I mean it. Let me be really clear about something. The only reason Jussie Smollett thought he could take advantage of a hoax about a hate crime is for the environment, the toxic environment that Donald Trump created. This is a president who drew a moral equivalency between people who are trying to perpetuate bigotry and those who are trying to fight bigotry. As somebody who started his own journey on politics, fighting the neo-Nazis in Skokie and then down to Marquette Park, President Trump should literally take his politics, move it aside. He's created a toxic environment, and now he's created a toxic, vicious cycle, in my view. The only reason Jussie Smollett thought he could get away with this hoax about a hate crime is because of the environment President Trump created.
My personal opinion is that you all know where I stand on this. Do I think justice was served? No. What do I think justice is? I think this city is still owed an apology. And let me digress for a moment. When I came on this job, I've been a cop now for about 31 years. When I came on this job, I came on with my honor, my integrity, and my reputation. If someone accused me of doing anything that would circumvent that, then I would want my day in court, period, to clear my name.
Now let's listen to what Tucker Carlson has to say about the whole mess surrounding Jussie Smollett's case.
Well, there are a bunch of weird new developments in this season's weirdest news story, the Jussie Smollett hoax. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel is demanding that Smollett repay the city of Chicago for all the police time and the investigators' time. He's also saying, we're not going to bother explaining because it's impossible to explain, that Trump is responsible for Smollett's stunt. Smollett hates Trump. Blame Trump voters. Whatever. Meanwhile, Kim Foxx, she's the prosecutor who let this all happen, who prevented Smollett from being prosecuted, now admits she never actually recused herself from the case. Matt Finn has been following this from day one. He joins us tonight from Chicago. Matt?
Tucker, right now the city of Chicago is demanding $130,000 from Jussie Smollett. The city says that's how much it costs in overtime hours during its meticulous investigation into Smollett's alleged attack. An attorney for the city of Chicago wrote to Jussie Smollett in a letter demanding that if Smollett doesn't pay the $130,000 within 7 days, the city is threatening to bring new charges against the actor for filing a false report. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel, who's feuded with the president for years, alleges the only reason Jussie Smollett could take advantage of a hate crime is because of the toxic environment Emanuel claims the president created. Meanwhile, the mayor and the president do agree that Jussie Smollett is a liar, and Emanuel says Smollett all of a sudden stopped demanding justice since his charges were dropped.
Has he said a single word about any hate crime against a gay man, a black gay man? No, nothing.
Kim Foxx, who suddenly recused herself during the height of this investigation for texting with Michelle Obama's former aide about Smollett's case, now admits she used the word recuse in a, quote, colloquial sense, not legally. And Jussie Smollett is nominated for a Best Supporting Actor award at tomorrow's NAACP award show in Los Angeles. Fox News confirms Smollett flew to L.A. late Wednesday. Not clear if he'll appear at the show. Project 21, a black conservative group which says it has 60,000 members, demanding Smollett's nomination be rescinded. Meanwhile, the host of the awards show says he hopes Jussie Smollett wins. Tucker.
So many threads, Matt. I don't know where to begin. Thank you for that update. Pretty amazing.
Sure.
So as you just heard, the prosecutor in this case, the one who let Smollett go without any charges at all after he volunteered for 2 days at Jesse Jackson's fake lobby organization, is saying that she used the term recuse colloquially because she's not a lawyer or anything. Meanwhile, Jussie Smollett's attorney argued on the Today Show that the actor was not lying when he said his actors were white. He wasn't acting out of some racial stereotype. In fact, they were in whiteface, she said.
According to the court records, Smollett was very clear with the police on the night of the attack that his attackers were white. He said they had masks on and gloves, but he saw their eyes and he saw the skin surrounding their eyes. Was that a false statement?
Obviously, you can disguise that. You could put makeup on. It took me all of 5 minutes to Google. You know, I was looking up the brothers, and one of the first videos that showed up actually was one of the brothers in whiteface doing a Joker monologue with white makeup on, and so it's not implausible.
Woo. Robbie Suave is associate editor at Reason, author of a fantastic book, Panic Attack, Young Radicals in the Age of Trump, and he joins us. Robbie, great to see you. So from what I can tell, Jussie Smollett and his attorney are, in a straight-faced way, taking the position that this all really happened, or he never lied.
That's what they have to do, right? To just kind of power through this so he can keep his career. He has to thunderously deny that he was involved in this, even though we pretty clearly know that he was. They have to come up with these crazy sort of explanations. I mean, if your theory requires you, right, to be wearing a disguise under your disguise, as to be in whiteface under ski masks, I mean, that's like absurd, clearly. But you know what? That's what she has to say. She's his lawyer, and of course he's going to deny it at this point. It was the job of Chicago, of Kimberly Fox, to prove that he was guilty, right? It wasn't his job to prove he's innocent. They have to prove he's guilty, and they decided not to do that. So ultimately, at this point, the people I'm most upset with are the state's attorney.
The problem, though, with Smollett continuing to lie is that it allows people to believe that there is, in fact, a rash of hate crimes in this country. And there is not. They're actually quite rare. California, the biggest state, I think, recorded like a dozen or less than hate crime convictions last year. So this is like a tiny thing. And this allows Kamala Harris and all these other demagogues to pretend, no, 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 it's totally real.
Right, and I think that's what Rahm Emanuel was getting at when he tried to spin this on Trump, is saying, well, you know, Trump has made this country so unsafe, so of course we believe this, it's ultimately Trump's fault, when of course it's the opposite of that. We have been misled about hate crimes being off the charts in the country, so we were prepared to believe this, or the people in the media were prepared to believe it.
Right, so in other words, if people don't like your politics or you personally, and then they lie in order to hurt you, it's your fault?
Right, I guess that's what he was saying. And I understand why he's mad, because they did this investigation, and even she says, even Kimberly Fox, the state's attorney, says, we would have won if we brought this to court. The evidence was good, and for some reason she just decided not to actually get him to plead guilty, which would have been, you know, I would have been fine with community service.
Sure.
Fine.
Me too.
I don't think anyone really, you know, our jails already have too many people in them.
I agree with that.
We need to lock up, you know, people who are not a violent threat. But she needed to get him to plead guilty. That's like how it works. So we would have had the catharsis of having it proven for all these people who say, I don't know what happened. We know what happened. We do know what happened. But we needed that verdict there, or that acknowledgement on his part, and she just decided not to go for that.
I could not agree with you more. That was the critical thing, just to know the truth and just have it acknowledged. We don't need to hurt Jussie Smollett. He's obviously a very wounded person already. But this is infuriating and bad. Robbie, thank you.
My pleasure.